There are a lot of players out there right now in Magic the Gathering deciding whether or not to pay for a box of Commander Masters. If you're like me, you'll think that spending $300 or sometimes $400 on a box of cards just isn't worth it. What we're gonna do today is to create a guide for players that are brand new to Magic the Gathering, so that when you look at the list of cards that we have over here on tcgplayer.com, specifically from the Commander Masters set, you'll know what cards are generally worth buying and which cards you should buy in bulk if you're someone that has or is looking to build a large collection of commander decks. Because these booster boxes cost often $300 or $400, we're gonna set our budget at $300, we'll say, because if I buy a draft booster box, I'm gonna be spending $300. And remember, like, when you buy a box of cards, you're getting a bunch of random cards. You're not getting exactly the cards that you want. Whereas right now, we're gonna pick and choose exactly what we want for our collection. I'm just gonna disappear from the view so that you guys can see the cards better. Now, when we're taking a look at these cards over here, I mean, we already noticed that, 49 cents, 40 cents for a card. We're really just looking to see which cards over here are gonna help us to win games in our collection. Like, we have a Sol Ring over here. If you're someone that has like 6 or 7 commander decks, and is looking to have Sol Ring in your commander decks, I mean, there are people that even think this card should be banned. So what I'm gonna say is, this is a card right here that most people, could invest into and pick up multiple copies of this card, so that you have multiple copies of this card in your collection, which wouldn't be that bad. So if we look at the price, 93 cents for a Sol Ring. I don't know why I said 50 cents earlier. Oh, because this one right here. But technically, like, what we could do is we want to notice how many Sol Rings they have, right? So if, let's say you have 5 commander decks without a Sol Ring, this seller over here has 28 copies of Sol Ring, $5 of free shipping, so we don't pay the 99 cents. 99 cents is essentially a copy of a Sol Ring. So we can just go ahead and add 5 Sol Rings to the cart right now, and now we have a Sol Ring for all the commander decks that don't have a Sol Ring. So that's already a decent start, because a lot of people think this card should be banned right here. So this is a very powerful card, new players. So as we keep going down and looking, I mean, we have Arcane Signet over here. This is $2.34. This is not the regular version of Arcane Signet. So I mean, if you wanted to go ahead and buy this, you could. But I mean, if I went up here and typed in, Arcane, I could find the copies from, Commander Masters over here, which are just 41 cents. So let's say for those same 5 commander decks that we don't have copies of Arcane Signet for, just imagining, I'm gonna go ahead, and this already sellers in our cart, so we already have free shipping here. We're just gonna go ahead and add 5 more Arcane Signets. So now we just really boosted the, the mana base for our deck, which is always a good thing. It's always going to make your deck more powerful. You can go ahead and purchase these full art cards and these cool looking cards. I just like to get the card, bro. If I can find it in Japanese or Chinese, I'll buy it in Japanese or Chinese as well, just to save money. That's all that I really care about in this situation. We even have free spells over here. This spell you can cast for free, dude. It's $2.43, which means that the real version should probably, the normal version should probably cost $1, which is pretty good. Dude, look at this. We have a Felwar Stone, another 2 mana rock over here for 25 cents, bro. That's so wild. And we already have, look, now we're just really upgrading the mana base for those commander decks. We're gonna go ahead and get 5 of those. 5 of these, dude, for 25 cents, bro. I can go ahead and get 8, and I just spent $2 on 8 copies of Felwar Stone for no reason. That's such a good deal right there. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. We also have, I'm looking to see if we have anything special over here. Tatyova is a fan. I mean, at 45 cents, dude, if you wanted to build a Tatyova deck. Tatyova says, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So if you're playing the colors green and blue, I mean, adding Tatyova to your deck can really can win you a lot of games, guys. This card is pretty strong, and this card looks pretty cool in my opinion. And it's, you know, look at the price where it was. This price was at $15 and dropped all the way down over here. You know, that's a foil one, but at least, you know, this is still a $5 card, and right now it's 47 cents. So this card is definitely pretty strong. So I mean, let's just say we want to build a Tatyova commander deck with this as the commander, because this card just looks super cool. We'll go ahead and add one of these to the cart just so that we have one. I mean, it's a pretty good card. It's not a bad card to have in your collection. If we keep looking over here, Astronaut's Altar, this card, oh my, what? Dude, Bloodchief Ascension used to be a lot of money, dude. This used to be like $25 and it's $4.85. Let's take a look at this Bloodchief Ascension, dude. This card reads, at the beginning of each end step, if an opponent lost 2 or more life this turn, you may put a quest counter on Bloodchief Ascension. Whenever a card is put to an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, if Bloodchief Ascension has 3 or more quest counters on it, you may have that player lose 2 life. If you do, gain 2 life. Listen guys, this card is very strong. If you want a really strong card, get this card. Dude, look at this, look at this. This card used to cost $14. I could buy 3 of these and spend just as much money. Just because this card's really strong, for the purpose of this video, we'll go ahead and just add one to our cart. This is the super cool looking version as well, so you know, you could probably spend less money buying the normal version of it, but just keep that in mind. You know, we have the medallions over here. I mean, these cards technically are really good, which is why they're holding that price above $10. I would rather just open this up in a pack. I'm not trying to spend $10 on, I mean, you can go ahead and do that if you really want those cards. I just think, like, I don't know, I don't really care that much. I don't want to spend $10 on this. I'd rather spend $10 on a legendary creature that's very powerful that I could build a deck around instead of just having this. But if you're playing like, you know, CEDH, you know, I actually just convinced myself, if you're playing like some really high powered meta and you need like every little thing matters, I would get one of these for one of those very powerful decks. But I just don't, personally, I don't care. We have Imp's Mischief. This card usually costs a lot of money, so $5 is probably a good price for that card, but we'll just let that be. Notice that we were looking at the Fierce Guardianship over here at 35. I mean, if you really wanted one, or Cyclonic Rift, you could get one at 24. We want to spend as least amount of money as possible. You know, if you open those cards in packs, that's cool, but I just don't really, I would rather buy a Japanese copy of these really expensive cards, because Japanese copies are always less than $10, and everybody knows what those cards do, so like it doesn't matter to me that it's in Japanese. Dude, we have Gisela the Blade of Gold Knight for $2.94, bro. This says, if a source would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, that source deals double that damage. If a source would deal damage to you, prevent half that damage rounded up. Yeah, this card just like completely warps the game in your favor. It does cost 7 mana to play, but for $2.94, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab one really quickly if you don't mind. And then we're just gonna keep looking. Chromatic Lantern is pretty decent if you're playing a 5-color commander deck, but they keep printing this card in pre-cons, so I don't know. I just think they're just gonna keep printing that card over and over again, so I'd rather spend that $2.94 somewhere else. This is the Bloodchief Ascension we were talking about earlier at $3, so if you wanted to save that $1, which actually matters in the context of this video, you could, but the Bloodchief Ascension is always really good. This is a free spell over here to make your creatures indestructible. You can just cast this for free if your commander's in play, and at $4, it's not that bad. Meren is probably one of the most, as a new player, dude, if you want a really fun commander, Meren is absolutely, this is actually the first commander that I owned ever in my life. Meren says, whenever another creature you control dies, you get an experience counter. At the beginning of your end step, choose target creature card in your graveyard. If that card's converted mana cost is less than or equal to the number of experience counters you have, return it to the battlefield, otherwise put it into your hand. In other words, you have a very strong commander. This card is super good. If you guys want, I can do a deck tech video for my Meren commander deck, and that way you guys can take a look at what the card or deck actually does. Here's that free fog I was talking about earlier. You can pay this, you can just play this for free if your commander's in play. Just prevents all damage your opponents do. I mean, it's free. You don't have to pay. It's not literally free, it's $1.19, right? But you can just cast this, you know. I think like if you have any green deck, this just easily slots into any one of those decks. And for $1, dude, I mean, you'd be surprised how many games like Fogs win. Like I've won, you know, humbly, I've won a lot of games just like fogging on my turn, because fogging essentially is almost, not literally is like an extra turn spell, but it just removes your opponent's combat step. And in a 1v1 situation, this card ends games. So, and especially when it's free, yeah, it's pretty decent. We're just gonna go ahead and add, like I said, $1.35, dude. There's 4 copies over here. I'm just gonna say that, let's just say that 2 of the decks that we have are green, and we'll add 2 copies. So now we have 2 free fogs in those decks, which is pretty good. You know, we do have a Hammer of Nazan. I do need to mention that we have this Grand Abolisher over here. Grand Abolisher, look at this, is generally like $20. This card generally costs 20 bucks, guys, and it's $7.92. So like, I don't know what just happened right there. Dude, I can do that. I can snapshot like that. That's pretty awesome. That's a new feature. Dude, $8.34 near mint foil. You know, if you really wanted this card, you could have it. Just so you know what it does. During your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities with artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. AKA, during your turn, your opponents can't play the game. Yeah. For $7 or $8, this card is game winning at times. I think when I ordered this and I did my shopping earlier, I bought 2 copies of those. So we're just gonna keep going through here. You know, we have Thran Dynamo, okay, Fairy Artisans, dude. Wow, whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under opponent control, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. So you just get to make copies of your opponent's creatures. For 80 cents, dude, I would buy 2 copies of this. I'm not gonna add it to the cart, but you know, if you need a deck that does things like that, yeah, you can buy a couple copies. Dude, Zakama's $3.60. So if you want to build dinosaurs and get ready for the new dinosaur set that's gonna be out soon, bro, $3.95. Yeah, I'll just build as a common deck. So then, dude, Vandal Blast is $1.06. You know, I'll spend $3 on a Vandal Blast. You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and cop 3 copies of that real quick. Vandal Blast, if you don't know, destroys all artifacts your opponent's control. Against the right deck, can just like basically means you win the game sometimes. We also, dude, Exsanguinate, 95 cents over here, guys. This card, another card that wins games. Each opponent loses X life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. And when you're playing cards like a Sanguine Bond that deals damage equal to the life you gain to somebody, this card can just absolutely end the game. And look how much this card used to be. Like, we got $4 over here. You know, this, I remember at some point this card used to be like $20, but they keep reprinting it. But for 96 cents, dude, any of your black commander decks to just be running this card. We're gonna go ahead and add 2 copies to the cart right now. And when we look at the shopping cart, dude, like our total is $34.05, and we added all these cards so far. And so 34, oh, those are my save for later. But $34 for the cards that we added, the Bloodchief Ascension, the 2 Exsanguinates, Zakama, 3 Vandal Blast, Gisela. I mean, just this cart alone would have been probably the price of an entire Commander Masters box at one point during reality, which is pretty good. If you want to build a Yuriko commander deck, Yuriko's $1.33. You know, once again, we have his Demonic Tutor over here for $60. Very powerful card, you know, but I mean, you know, I'd rather just pull that in a pack and not spend that like that. We have Darksteel Mutation. Enchanted creature is an insect artifact creature with base power and toughness 0/1 and has indestructible. So you put this on your opponent's commander. In the right situation, they lose the game sometimes. And this card right now costs 29 cents. You know, any white commander deck, like I can go over here and literally, I can just buy 4 of them, and I basically spent a little more than $1 on a card that can completely end the game in the right situation. This is another piece of removal that's gonna allow you to destroy a target permanent. They reprint this card often, so that's probably why it's just 45 cents, but this would be another card, a good card to buy like 3 or 4 copies of. We also have the Smothering Tithe over here. which you know, if it's less than 20 bucks, would be a good card to own. The Grave Pact as well would be a good card to own. Kindred Dominance would be a good card to own. 80 cents for a Wrath of God, you know, a good board wipe that destroys all creatures. You know, if you have a white commander deck buying, or if you have multiple white commander decks, you could buy 3 of these, spend like what, $2 on a little more than $2 on 3 copies of this card. You know, that'd be a pretty good deal right there. You know, Stormkiln Artist, this card goes infinite and wins games that way, and for 48 cents, bro. Like, dude, like, if I was gonna buy this at 50 cents, look, 54 cents, near mint foil 5, yeah, I'm just gonna buy 4 of them, actually. That way, you know, I just have 4 copies of this card, because whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with that card, you create a treasure token. And yeah, that tends to be a really powerful play. We also have Eternal Witness. It's funny that Eternal Witness is right here, and we also have Meren right across. Meren being 30 cents to buy, the same card we talked about earlier. But Eternal Witness just allows you to return a card from your graveyard back to your hand when this enters the battlefield. So this card is probably one of my favorite Magic the Gathering cards ever, just because of you can just reuse it over and over again, specifically in a Meren commander deck. And at 44 cents for a copy of this card, you know, dude, honestly, this is like one of those cards where like I can go over here and I could find the sellers that have 4 or more copies, and bro, like I'll literally buy 7 copies of that card. Like, this card is just super good. I wouldn't advise you to do that if you're not playing green commander decks, but like I build a lot of commander decks, so just having extra copies of that card is nice just to have. And for what, 40 cents each? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Dude, Queen Marchesa, 24 cents. This commander over here is very group friendly. This definitely introduces Monarch to the game, which makes games just sometimes a bit more fun. It kind of forces combat. And at 31 cents for a foil copy of Marchesa, you know, let's say somebody wants to build a Marchesa deck, we'll go ahead and order a foil copy of Marchesa. Looking at these things, you know, Teysa Karlov would be another one of those cards if you wanted to build a fun commander deck for 35 cents, dude. Yeah, that seems pretty cool as a new player. You can look that up on your own. But we're just gonna keep looking to see if I find any cards that stand out. You know, Sakiko, Mother of Summer over here as well. This card is actually low-key just one of my favorite commander decks that I have, and I don't ever really see somebody playing it. Says whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, add that much green mana to your mana pool. Essentially what ends up happening is you just end up putting so many big creatures on the board that have trample, and you just deal 12 damage to people, then you get 12 mana, and then you play cards that allow you to spend mana into them, and then you just put creatures into the battlefield for free. This card is super underrated, and every time I play this commander deck against people, they're always like, dude, like, what is going on? This deck is crazy. I'm like, I know, I love this card. So that's the story of the day. So now we have Morophon, the Boundless. I usually think Morophon is a bit over $20. Let's just check to make sure. No, not really. I mean, at one point this card used to be over 20 bucks, and for $10 to get this version of the card, I actually ordered one of these foil for a little over $10. So it's a good card if you want to build a 5-color deck that's a tribe that's not usually played, or you can make it a dragon commander deck. You make it whatever you want, you know. We also have Evacuation, which is a decent instant speed spell. I'm just gonna keep looking to see if we... Dude, Disrupt Decorum, 20 cents. Bro, this is a card right here. It's a pretty decent border wipe. You know, I'm gonna look at DC Magic as 9 copies. You know, let's say I have 3 red commander decks. You know, I'll go ahead and pay 99 cents for 3 copies of Disrupt Decorum, which is just a really good board wipe in the right situation. You know, Godo is a popular CEDH commander for 32 cents. You can go ahead and get that deck started, which isn't that bad. You know, we keep looking over here. You know, this Lifeblood Hydra used to be a lot of money, dude. This used to be an expensive card, like $7.41 for a copy of this card. Now it's down to 50 cents if you're playing a Hydra commander deck. I know there's a couple Hydra cards released. This would be a really good card to add to that deck because you gain life and draw cards equal to its power. And Hydras generally tend to be big creatures, so it's a pretty good card. We also have, you know, Mikaeus the Unhallowed, which used to be a $30 card, close to 30 bucks, and now it's over here for $7. So this would probably be the cheapest you're ever going to be able to get into this card. This price is yeah, it's already going up. This price is only gonna go up. I would imagine this may top out at maybe $15, but then, you know, with the $15 you could have bought 2 copies of this card, right? That'd be a decent card to, let's say somebody really wants this card. Let's just go ahead and add Mikaeus for $8 to our cart practically, which is pretty good. You know, if you really want to build a Ur-Dragon deck over here, we have an Ur-Dragon for $25, which isn't too bad. Blasphemous Act, which is a fantastic board wipe, you know, for $1.30. You know, I'll go ahead and spend, you know, $4. Nah, I'm saying, nah, you know, actually, I feel comfortable buying 2 copies of this for $3. Actually, I don't know. I'll buy, because this is $2 over here. I don't know. I'm actually going to hold off on buying this. I feel like at some point you'll be able to buy this card for just a straight up dollar. You spend $4, get 4 copies of it. I feel like that would be a better deal than spending $1.70 on it. We also have the Balefire Dragon, is usually a card that's over $20. This, when you deal damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. So this card can just completely warps the game in your favor at times. So $11 isn't that bad. Now keep looking, you know, Ur-Dragon $28.71. Man, people are gonna be spending cash for the Ur-Dragon. That's a decent. I mean, if you really want one, I mean, that's the cheapest it's gonna be. So, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad time for you to get into getting a copy. Cauldron Complete. I know this is in the pre-con, so this price is probably going to go down, so I would hold off on the Cauldron. And as we keep looking, you know, we're just going to keep noticing. I want to find good deals. You know, I'm going to have to be a decent card to build a commander deck around if you want to build a mono green commander deck. And as we keep looking, that Flawless Maneuver, that free commander spell, I didn't really see anything over here that was, I mean, unless you really wanted to get into copies of Feed the Swarm. You know, and mono black doesn't really have ways to destroy enchantments, but Feed the Swarm does. And for what, this at 20 cents, 21 cents, I could buy 5 copies of this for $1. Yeah, don't mind if I do. And I'm just gonna keep looking, and I think that was really the only card that I liked on that page. Solomon Simulacrum enters the battlefield and gets you a land for 50 cents. You know, you could buy 4 copies of it for $2. You know, that actually sounds like a really good deal, so I'm gonna go ahead and just buy 4 copies of this for $2. This, you know, it's colorless, so you can play that in any, basically any commander deck, so that's pretty decent. I like this Onaki Oathkeeper over here just because, you know, creatures can't attack planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1. Oh, that's only for planeswalkers? Yeah, I thought it was creatures, I thought it was players and planeswalkers, so that's actually not as good as I thought it was. So let's just delete that from our memory. And we'll keep looking over here, looking for some good deals. Goreclaw, dude. Yo, the Goreclaw says creatures spells you cast power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. So this just makes your giant green creatures just really easy to play, and especially in that Sakiko commander deck we were talking about earlier. Goreclaw is a fantastic include, and for 30 cents, bro, this card used to cost a lot more than $2, bro. I remember this card used to cost like $5 or $7, and for 30 cents, bro, on my green commander decks, yeah, I'll buy 3 of them for 90 cents. Or 96 cents to be exact. That's not a bad sale at all. And dude, Tatyova 13 cents, the one we were talking about earlier. Yeah, that's not the cool version of the card, but I mean, you know, who cares about being cool? We have the Herald's Horn, pretty decent at $2.45. That's not a bad deal right there if you wanted to go ahead and purchase that card. You know, keep looking. Mizzix of the Exmagnus is another powerful card for 19 cents. It's a pretty cool deck to build around. You know, if you want to look that up on your own, you can. And Decree of Pain, which is a pretty decent board wipe because you can cycle this to give all creatures -2/-2 and you get to draw a card, or you destroy all creatures for 8 mana and then you draw a card for each creature destroyed this way, which is a board wipe, and you draw a ton of cards at times. And when I play this, dude, I draw more than 5 cards every single time. So this is a pretty decent card, and for 25 cents, bro, this is a card that literally, like, I think into the future of all the black commander decks I'm gonna buy. If I buy 10 copies of this, now let's do the math. So I get, for every 4 copies is $1. So if I do 12 copies of this, I spend $3. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. We're gonna add 12 copies to our cart. And yeah, now that we just have a ton of those board wipes for all of the black decks for the rest of my life, essentially. Because that card used to cost like $5-6, dude. So I mean, 25 cents is kind of a deal. There's so many good deals right here right now, and this is why, you know, buying singles after every set is really important. 9 cents for Kazul if you want to prevent your opponents from attacking you. This is a pretty decent card right here for 9 cents. Yeah, I would buy probably $1's worth and get like 10 of them. So we just keep looking for good deals. I mean, I don't really think I see anything on this page. Lorthos is a pretty good card. This card combos very powerfully with a card that essentially allows you to, because the thing is, like, when Lorthos says when he attacks you may pay 8, you don't have to pay 8, but like the thing is that in response to you having the opportunity to pay 8, you have to target permanence. And the thing is that it says if you do pay the 8, you have to, your opponents tap up to 8 target permanents, and then they don't get to untap. But the thing is that what ends up happening is there's a card that says whenever you target your opponent's creature, you essentially get to just take control of that creature. So I don't even have to pay 8. I just get free targeting on 8 permanents, or most importantly, I think in this situation it would have to be 8 creatures, and then I just get 8 creatures on the side of my board. This is a really annoying commander to play against, and if you want to be annoying, buy it for 24 cents. Dude, you could probably buy a full copy for like 50 cents. It's a pretty good card. So looking over here, I mean, we have the Great Henge. This is a super wild copy of this card. Azuri's Predation wouldn't be bad to buy a green board wipe, which are few. There are few green board wipes, man. You could probably find the normal version of this for like 50 cents, which would be a pretty good deal. Looking over this over here, you know, that have the Eidolon of Blossoms, $1.70, which is a decent Enchantress card that you could buy, so that whenever you cast an enchantment, you draw a card. Pretty good card to have. Caradorge is a very powerful commander. Another graveyard type commander for 18 cents is a really good deal. You know, the Vizier of Tumbling Sands for 10 cents, dude. Something that untaps permanents. So essentially this can untap a land, so you can give you a land or untap other things that, you know, you generally tend to untap things that are much more powerful. But for 14 cents, bro, yeah, let me just get like 3 copies of that, and I'll just spend 40 something cents on 3 copies of that card. Don't mind if I do. We have the Titan of Littjara. Guys, I really think in the future this card is going to be really expensive. So, you know, buying this at $8.67, buying just like 1 or 2, I think easily this card goes above $20 at one point. So, you know, you could buy 3 for the price of what I think that's going to be in the future. You really want to think wisely. Descendants Fury is another one of those cards I think is going to be really expensive in the future, and for $5, this would probably be a $20 card in my opinion. Buying 4 copies of this, you know, wouldn't be a bad investment, especially if you want, dude, you could sell one of them in the future and then, you know, make your money back on buying those 4 technically. You know, looking over here, we have the Boros Signet, and if all the signets are in this set, you know, you could buy multiple copies of the signets. Just ways to ramp efficiently. We also have that Mikaeus for $8.40, the cool version. If you're a cool person, you can buy the cool card. We have the Sequoia, which is a fun commander. Narset's 50 cents, cool commander. Kurtar's Wrath for 12 cents, bro, which is a 6 mana board wipe. But if you need a board wipe in green decks, in white commander decks, I mean, if you have 3 white decks, dude, I'm about to spend 36 cents on 3 board wipes. You know, I don't care that it's not the most powerful board wipe. It's a board wipe, guys. For 36 cents, I'm not going to sit here and complain, especially if I'm a brand new player to the game. That's just a pretty good card to have. Burnished Heart is 8 cents, dude. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and buy 8 copies of this. So for 80 cents, I'm going to get 8 copies of a card that puts 2 lands into play in any commander deck I own. So we're just gonna keep looking. Infernal Titans, 33 cents if you want a good creature with a decent enter the battlefield effect. You know, we're just gonna keep looking over here. Personal Tutor, Urza's $9. Urza used to be 20 something dollars for $9.75. It's a pretty good deal right there, and that's foil, which is cool if you're a cool person. We have the You know, looking over here, I think it's starting to lose its steam a bit. We may have seen all the really cool cards. I mean, we have that Toxic Deluge over there, but for $15, I mean, I would just rather not spend $15 on that. We have this Grave Pact over here, foil etched for $12.92. I really think this is actually a good deal right here. This card generally, look, the foil copy in the past of the older version of this card was $41. So for $12.92, yeah, I'll just go ahead and add one to my cart really quickly. It just says whenever a creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. So man, that really gets out of control at times. Grave Pact is a fantastic card. And if you're looking to build the Marin deck I was talking about earlier, that'd be a really good include for that commander deck, dude. It's really strong. Mesa Enchantress for 19 cents, dude. Oh my god. We're gonna go ahead, 26 copies. Yeah, don't mind if I add 8 copies of that to my cart for every white. Dude, this card used to cost like not 8 or what? Not 19 cents. You know? Yeah, I'll buy 8 copies of that card. I don't even care. Disrupt Decorum. I think we added that to our cart earlier. That's a pretty decent board wipe. You know, Twilight Prophet, this used to be a $20 card, so I feel like $6.49 get 3 copies of that card. Any vampire deck, really, you kind of want to play this card into a pretty good commander staple, pretty decent card for vampires in particular. We have, you know, the Ulamog, if you really want to go ahead and get your Eldrazi on. Usually these are $50, so for 25 bucks. It's not too bad. Remembering that our budget for a draft, a booster box, is $300. So we're just choosing exactly the cards we want instead of spending $300 and getting what we get, you know? And I feel like right now we're getting some pretty decently powerful cards. You know, as I'm looking through here, you know, we have this Heroic Intervention. You know, you might be able to find that for less than $10 if you really want a copy of Heroic Intervention. That'd be a good card to have. Looking over here, Insurrection used to win games back in the day. So this card literally says like 8 mana, win the game sometimes. Untap all creatures and gain control of them until the end of turn. They gain haste until the end of turn. So I play this in a deck where I have like a sacrifice outlet so that I can just take all my opponent's creatures, attack them with all of them, and then sacrifice all of them. And like if I don't win the game from either just the attack in general at times just ends the games for some people, I just end up, it's a one-sided board wipe most of the time, and that tends to win games as well sometimes. You know, just from I convinced myself, I'm gonna go ahead and add a foil copy of that, 2 of them to my cart, just because oh, let's just go ahead and we'll end up removing them. We already had a seller in our cart, so we're just gonna go ahead and do that so that we save money on shipping. So we keep looking over here. Dude, Gilded Lotus is not bad. We're just gonna keep looking. Eventually, when the page wants to load, you know, we have more cards. Looking over here, I don't think I see, you know, if you want to build a Nekusar commander deck, like Nekusar pairs really well with that Bloodchief Ascension if you decided to buy one earlier. Good combo right here. We keep looking. At some point, we're going to get to the tokens and stuff, so, you know, speaking of tokens, we may have to just go to our cart and see what we got. We have this Runescar Demon over here. I wonder how much the Runescar Demon, just the regular version of it, costs. 45 cents? Bro, guys. When Runescar Demon enters the battlefield, search your library for a card and put it into your hand and shuffle. So if you're looking to build that Marin commander deck I was talking about earlier, you could just like sacrifice Runescar Demon, bring it back to the battlefield, search for a card. Sacrifice Runescar Demon, put it back to the battlefield, search the library for a card, and so on and so forth. And for 67 cents for a foil, yeah, we can just buy 2 copies of this for, do we have a seller on our cart? Yeah, for $1, you know, 45 cents though, but they only have 1 copy. Yeah, we'll just add 3 of these, 3 foil copies of this to our cart. Yeah, $3, not too bad there, guys. Runescar Demon, powerful card. Corpse Augur for 8 cents. This draws you cards pretty decently. I mean, Corpse Augur says when this dies, you draw X cards, you lose X life for X's number of creature cards in target player's graveyard. Another good Marin card. You know, I buy one copy for 8 cents, dude. Come on, bro. 8 cents, really? I'm just gonna keep looking. Razaketh the Foul-Blooded would be a pretty powerful card. This card used to cost over $20 and $8.80 for a version of this card. I mean, if I look at the other versions of this card, yeah, this is what I was talking about, $25 card. For $8.80, I could buy 3 copies of this and still spend less money than the other version of that card that we just saw. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and add that. Just so you know, like that card that we just added to the cart, Razaketh, you can pay 2 life and sacrifice a creature, and then you can put any card from your deck into your hand. Yeah, that's why it's a very strong card. As we keep looking, eventually we're almost done. We're almost about to run out of a lot of these cards. Is cards that we've seen earlier. We do have this right here, the Nesting Dragon. This is foil etched. I mean, if we find the older or the plain copy of this card, because we don't have to be cool people all the time. We got 46 cents for a Nesting Dragon. Any landfall deck that you're gonna play probably wants to play this card, and at some point this card used to be way over like $7 at one point, almost over 10 bucks at one point, and for 50 cents, dude. Yeah, I'm just gonna add all 4 of these to my cart for $2. So any landfall decks that have the color red, I'm just gonna put that card into because it's strong. You know, as we keep looking, now we're looking at some of the more just the fancy versions of the cards that I don't want to be a cool person, so I'm just gonna not spend the extra money like that. I don't really care, dude. I'll buy a Chinese or Japanese copy of a card or a Russian card, like I don't care. But I care about saving money. That's the name of the game. The more money I save, the more money I can spend on feeding my dog, and that's what I care about, honestly. So looking at this stuff, I don't really see anything over here that really piques my interest. There are some good cards here, but we're nearing the end, I think, over here. Duplicate would be a pretty good card to invest into. Colorless, this exiles a creature when it enters the battlefield. 31 cents, you buy 3 copies of that for 90 cents. Pretty decent. You can put that in any card. You can put that in that Marin commander that can start exiling creatures when it enters the battlefield. They're a pretty good card inside that deck. Rafik of the Many for $1 for the foil copy of that. Just gives a creature you control double strike. A really good beginner commander, actually. Probably one of the best beginner commanders because it just like enters the battlefield and just gives itself double strike. And in these colors, there's so many powerful auras that you can put on Rafik, and you just one-shot your opponents with this card. It's a pretty decent commander to build, especially if you're a new player. I just think that playing commander damage is just really powerful for new players and really easy to understand and really simple to do. And Rafik used to be like $8, so buying a copy for $1 is a pretty good deal. And now we're finding the tokens, so I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the card. There's probably a lot more cards that I missed, but we've just added 115 cards to our cart. And just so you guys know how this website works, our total right now is 102, which is $200 less than what you would have spent on a booster box, right? So I can just optimize this really quickly. And dude, just so you guys know, like, I'll remove this. We want to save as much money as possible, so remove all of this. We have advanced rules over here as well. And then we have conditions allowed. So this is just like how nice the card looks, or the condition of the card. I'll literally put any condition just because I want to save as much money as possible. I'm going to optimize this and see what we get. 3, 2, 1. So we went from spending 102, and we could essentially save $2 and get it. We go from having 11 individual packages sent to our house, either up to, if you care about the number of packages, you can get it cut down to 2 at 117. You pay the extra money for the convenience. Personally, let's just save money. I can save $2 and bring down the number of packages down to 5. So we're gonna select this cart over here, and dude, look, this is it. We get a Corpse Augur. I can get a lot more, guys. You know what? For 10 cents, bro. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and add 3 more to our cart right here. Or 2 more to our cart. So yeah, so 20 more cents. Darksteel Mutation, we got 4 copies, 31 cents. Decree of Pain, we have 12 of them. Did I really add 12? Let's just maybe we don't need 12. We'll go down to 8. Disrupt Decorum, you know, they have an extra copy. Let me just take their extra copy, whatever. We save money from the Degree of Pain. You can see I'm obsessed with these Eternal Witnesses, but I really do think that's a powerful card, so we're just gonna keep that like that. We do get all the 13 Felwar Stones, dude. Did we order 13 of them, dude? Bro, I don't know if we ordered 13 Felwar Stones. I don't know what's going on over there, so we're just gonna go ahead and say, like, yeah, let's get the 5 I think that we ordered. Are you trying to add stuff to my cart? TCG player, what's going on? I'm already giving you money and try to take more money, you know? But the Mesa Enchantress, I really like that card. And looking over here, you know, we got a pretty decent number of cards. You know, you could go back that Mikaeus. And right now the card's at 97.72, dude. 97.72 for all of these cards for your collection. Instead of spending $300 or $400, you know, just pick exactly the cards you want and you just go from there. So that's gonna be it for this video today, guys. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this in the future, remember to comment and like this video, and that way that every single set that releases, I'll do a guide like this for everybody once the cards have settled and the prices start to drop, and that way we can save as much money as possible and be wise with the Magic cards that we buy. Okay, so always remember, eat healthy, okay, work out every single day, all right? And most importantly, you guys got to remember to believe in yourself, all right? Peace out, people.